everybody showing up, especially the parents. The gymnasts already had to be here, so it's nice of you guys to sit down for me. But thanks for you guys coming early and letting me talk about sleep hygiene. So a little bit about me though. So my name is Ian. I'm one of the owners of Elevate Physical Therapy, and I work with some of the gymnasts here on a special program that we offer. So I started out in gymnastics when I was 6 years old. Went all the way up through college. For 16 years I did gymnastics. Got to compete for 4 years up at Springfield College in Massachusetts. After that, I went on to grad school at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center to get my doctorate in physical therapy. Then moved up to Kentucky for 3 years, let my wife finish up school, then finally back down here. So I actually went to master's when I was in middle school and high school, so it's fun to be back here. So as far as my PT career goes, the more I worked for other people, the more I realized I want to work for myself. And the more I kind of looked back on my gymnastics career, the more I wanted to offer something to gymnasts that could actually change the way that they train and change the mindset of gymnastics, because the mindset of gymnastics right now is just gymnastics is supposed to hurt, and get over it and tape your ankle and rub some chalk on it and you'll feel better, right? So especially guys gymnastics, girls gymnastics, I've coached guys and girls gymnastics before I became a physical therapist for 10 years. Everything from little bitties to big bitties, and pre-elite stuff and college stuff, so it was a lot of fun. But we needed to change the mindset. The last 6 years I did gymnastics, I taped at least one ankle every single day of practice. And when I look back at those, at that injury and some of my other injuries, I go, well, that was either preventable or it was fixable. But instead of going to a physical therapist, because I didn't know anything about physical therapy until I went into PT school, instead of that, I ended up going to athletic trainers, and they would tape it and they would ice it, and they would give me some strengthening, but no real skilled rehabilitation. And that's where physical therapy comes in. So that's something I wanted to offer, and we can talk about the program that I offer you guys at the end if you have questions. But today it's all about sleep hygiene. So part of the program that we offer is offer these educational seminars just about things that people are curious about, whether it's sleep or nutrition. We met with Amy and Coach Jacob earlier, right before summer hit. We talked about their strength and conditioning program and getting into some more weightlifting type activities, especially for our ages 10 and over. And so that's part of the education that you guys are benefiting from the program that the girls are, that some of the girls are in. So hopefully about every quarter I'll be doing something if you guys are interested in it. So today's about sleep hygiene. So most of the questions are going to be directed at them because I like to hear their answers, and parents already know everything, right? So what do you guys think of? Oops, don't cheat. What do you guys think of when you hear hygiene? Showers. Washing your hands. So is hygiene about being clean, or is it about how to be dirty? Clean. About how to be clean, right? So what do you think about sleep hygiene? What do you think I'm going to be talking about today? Sleeping clean. That's what you think, right? Except it's nothing about that at all. So I looked it up. I tried to find out why they even call it sleep hygiene, and there's no answer. Just some guy back in like the 40s coined the term sleep hygiene, and it stuck. So there's no real reason. It's basically about habits and practices that are conducive to sleeping well on a regular basis. So it's basically how to get good sleep and how to get good sleep all the time. Okay, so 2 goals. There's form good sleep habits and sleep well consistently. So sleeping well, you think about being rested and energized for the next day, the ability to concentrate while you do school or while you do work for parents, and performing to full potential during your practices or workouts or any physical activity. So, how much sleep are you guys getting at night? Parents first, this will be fun. Less than 6 hours a night for parents. Yeah. Less than 7, less than 8, more than 8? No parents are getting more than 8 hours. All right. What about kids? Are we getting less than 7?
I got 8.
On average. Rose and I have already talked about this. So less than 7. What about less than 8?
I get 8.
Who gets 9 or more? Okay. Good deal. So, if you're a newborn, like my son that you can't see on the picture because we don't have a picture up there. Newborns, 14 to 17 hours a day, right? But most people we don't have anybody 5 years old or younger, right? I didn't think so. All right, so 6 through 13, you guys should be getting 9 to 11 hours of sleep. Teenagers, 14 through 17, 8 to 10 hours of sleep, which is really hard when high school starts early. So my high school luckily started at 8, so it was a little bit easier to get some sleep. Your high school starts at 8? You must be pretty smart. All right. Adults, 7 to 9. So if you're getting less than 7, and this is, so the big myth behind this is that you can kind of train your body to use less sleep, and it's not true. So you really need that amount of sleep, and it's really hard to make up sleep once you've lost it. And some people say it's actually impossible to make up sleep. It takes a lot longer to make up sleep than it does to get rid of sleep. All right. So what are you guys doing the last hour before you go to bed? Is anybody watching TV? Yeah? Anybody watching YouTube? Yeah, TVs, phones, tablets. Is anybody doing homework an hour before they go to bed? Yeah? Read? Good. So maybe some readers out there. Anybody listen to music before they go to bed? Good. Not music videos, but music? Good. So, our goal is to learn a new routine. The human body responds really well to repetition and routine. So if you guys go to a competition and you've only done your routine on beam once, do you think it's going to go well for you? No. No, right? The human body likes to do things over and over and over to get it right. And it does much better when you do things over and over and over again. So each day, you get into the routine of going to bed and waking up at the same time. You guys know in the summer when you guys get to stay up really late and sleep in, it's really hard to get back on a school schedule, right? It's really hard to start going to bed again at 9 o'clock or 8:30 or anything like that. And so if you just stay on the same schedule all the time, your body gets used to it and it wakes up easier and it goes to bed easier because it gets in the habit of it. Before bedtime, don't eat and then go straight to bed because then all your blood's pumping trying to digest all that food, and it's going to keep you awake, or it's going to give you a stomach ache or heartburn. Probably adults a little more likely to get heartburn if they eat and go right to bed. Don't eat really heavy foods, so don't go to like Texas Roadhouse and get a plate that's bigger than your shoulders and then eat it all and then go straight to bed. It's almost impossible to go to bed and be relaxed. Bedtime routine: hot shower or warm shower. You read, you relax, you stay off of technology. And you also don't exercise right before you go to bed either. Because any type of vigorous activity, so any type of activity where your body's working really hard, whether it's physical activity or whether it's mental activity, like watching things or things that get your brain really excited, like videos and cats freaking out over a cucumber and all that, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. So anything that excites your brain or excites your body makes it harder to fall asleep. So you want 1 to 2 hours of just relaxation, maybe reading a book, anything like that. Throughout the day, you want to limit naps to 30 minutes. So like when I was in college, I'd get like a 2-hour break in between classes. I'd go to sleep for like an hour and 59 minutes. And then I would wake up and feel awful. Instead of that 30-minute, just kind of quick, get up and go, and a little refresh, recharge. Also, the bed is for sleep. So your brain will relate anything that you do to bed, anything that you do in the bed as normal activity. So every time you go to bed, you hop on your phone or you start watching TV, it thinks that the bed is made for watching TV and to excite your brain and do things like that. Instead, you want just bed is for sleep. So if you're laying in bed, it's to relax and go to sleep. It's not to watch TV or do anything like that, because your brain is going to get used to whatever you normally do when you're in bed. That's what your brain's ready for. Make sense? So like me, I like to just lay down and go to sleep. So when my head hits the pillow, 5 or 6 minutes afterward, I'm asleep. And my wife goes, "Are you asleep already?" I say yes. Or I don't say anything, because she doesn't wake me up enough. Make sure you expose yourself to natural light throughout the day. So it's harder during the winter. People don't always get a really good sleep during the winter because they don't get the ambient light. They don't get light during the day because they're stuck at work or stuck in school all day long. But the light that the sun produces actually helps your body sleep and wake. So the sun actually helps your body know when it's time to wake up and when it's time to go to sleep. So get some sunshine. So wear sunscreen. All right. So, sleep interference. How do you guys, so sleep interference, so there's basically, I kind of narrowed it down to 2 reasons. So we got medical interference, so medical problems that interfere with sleep. Then you got other problems that interfere with sleep, or that don't let you sleep. So medical problems would be like restless leg syndrome, where you're laying in bed and you just get this irresistible urge to move your legs. Some of you guys think that your kids have that, probably, when they just get the irresistible urge to move, and you get the irresistible urge to just sit them down. So, but adults usually get restless, or not usually, but if someone is going to get restless leg syndrome, it's adults, and that's just when your legs jerk and move and you can't help it. Obstructive sleep apnea, that's really bad snores, and you actually stop breathing for a second, and it kind of half wakes you up, and then you start breathing again. So really bad snores have sleep apnea. That's where they get to wear the mask like Darth Vader, and oxygen. Yes, ma'am.
My dad doesn't wear the mask.
Up again. So like my son during the day. So soon we get him asleep. As soon as he lays down, he wakes up. No, but that's a real problem. People have trouble going to sleep and staying asleep if they have insomnia. Depression and anxiety also limit your ability to sleep. Other interferences, sleepwalking. It's really hard to get a good night's sleep if you're up walking around all night long. You don't sleepwalk? That's good. Jet lag or other traveling. So if you're in the car all day long or in the plane, you get jet lag. It makes it hard to sleep. Poor nutrition. If you're not getting enough food or if you're getting too much food, that will make you have problems with sleeping. Overtraining. So if you're in the gym all the time and you're never resting, you won't get good sleep at night, believe it or not. You would think the more tired you are physically, the better you would sleep. But if you're actually overtraining, then you won't get good sleep at night. Caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine, maybe. Aging, so as you get older, you don't sleep as well. Pain doesn't let you sleep as well, and stress doesn't let you sleep as well. So how do you guys feel when you don't get enough sleep? Awful. Somebody say angry? Crabby. Yeah, anything else? You fall asleep in school? Right. So what happens when you get lack of sleep? You get mood disruption, including irritability. So you guys get angry at your parents if you're not getting enough sleep. Right? So that's not an excuse to sleep for 14 hours, though. Not an excuse. You get poor cognitive performance. All that means is that you have trouble thinking during the day. So you have trouble doing things at work, or you guys have trouble taking tests if you don't get enough sleep. You get lack of muscle recovery, because when you sleep at night, that's what helps your body recover. Your body actually releases human growth hormone while you sleep, and that's what helps your bones and muscles develop. So if you're not getting enough sleep, things will start to break down and not heal, right? Because as you build muscle, you get these microscopic tears, and then those tears will heal and create a bigger, stronger muscle. If you don't get enough sleep at night, those tears don't heal as well. And then poor motor control. So people, for instance, driving, you don't get enough sleep. If you get like, I think 4 or less hours of sleep, you're the equivalent of a drunk driver. That's how good your reflexes are. All right, so what about the good night's sleep? How does that affect your day? If you guys get to sleep for 8 or 10 hours, awesome. Energized. You don't want to get up, right? Hyper, yeah. Anything else if you guys get a good night's sleep? You feel like you learn better? You feel like you do better at practice if you're rested? Yeah. Focus. So benefits to sleep. So you form new neural pathways. So basically, if you learn something during the day, then your brain makes new connections to keep it in your brain. Whether that's something you practice, like you learn a new skill at practice. Have you guys ever heard of muscle memory? Right? Where if you do something enough times, your body just knows how to do it. All right, I did gymnastics a long time ago, like 10 years ago. I stopped, or well, not quite 10 years ago. About 6 or 7 years ago, I stopped doing gymnastics. In my brain, I still remember how to do everything. Now, my body might not do it like exactly like I want it to, but my memory is still there. Yeah. And so when you sleep at night, those new pathways are formed in your brain to help you remember things. If you learn something new at school, if you want to keep it in your brain, get a good night's sleep. So that way you can, it can form new memories and new short-term and long-term memories. You get a better functioning immune system if you get enough sleep at night. You don't get sick as often. So one of the ways that my mom used to always know I was going to get sick is if I didn't get enough sleep. In high school, if I went 2 or 3 days and I was getting 6 or less hours of sleep, my mom would just kind of be on the lookout. She wouldn't say anything, but she'd just be on the lookout, and by the weekend I usually had a little sniffle or a little cold or a little cough. You get a healthier appetite, and you decrease your risk for obesity if you get enough sleep at night. Obesity means overweight. And then you recover, the recovery of the musculoskeletal system, like I said, the HGH production, and then the glycogen storage. The glycogen storage, what that is you have these storages inside your muscles of sugar, okay, called glycogen. So it's basically just energy stored in your muscles. And if you don't get enough sleep at night, all of that doesn't get to go back into your muscles again. So the next day you're starting out with less energy in your muscles. So what to do before a competition? All right, sleep is good. So if you're traveling to a competition, like if you're going to Atlanta or going to Florida or out to Las Vegas for a big competition, whatever it is, if you try and arrive a day early if you can. I know that's not always possible. You can't miss all kinds of school, but if you can, try and arrive a day early to avoid jet lag or to avoid fatigue from traveling in the car. Everybody knows that feeling when you get out of a 6 or 7 hour car ride and you just feel like crud, right? Yes, exactly. Your legs just feel all wobbly and you don't want to do anything. So try and get there a day early. If you're sleeping in a hotel, bring your own pillow and your own blanket, because hotel pillows are crazy. Some of them are this thick and they're like luxury pillows, but you're sleeping with your chin on your chest. You're going, what? Why did I pay money for this, right? So bring your own pillow from home, and then bring your own blanket even, because smells from home that you normally sleep in, those all help you sleep at night. Basically, you want to make the hotel room as much like your own room as possible. So you want it nice and dark and cool and quiet, because hopefully your rooms at home are dark and cool and quiet. If they're not, make them dark and cool and quiet. You can't? Oh, man. Gotcha. So try and make the hotel room like that as well. Remember any time changes, and try and stay on the same schedule. So if, it's 8 o'clock here, but in the next time zone it's 9 o'clock, well, try and go to bed a little bit earlier to try and stay on the same routine. Or you can go to bed a little bit later if you're going the other direction, right? So try and stay on the same routine on your time zone. Now, if you're going to be there for 6 weeks, you can get on their time zone, right? But if you're only there for a couple of days, try and stay on yours. The times that you eat, the times that you go to bed, the times that you wake up. Just do everything an hour early, or hour late, or 2 hours late, however you think about it. All right. Also, stay hydrated and make sure you're drinking enough water. While people travel, they tend to not drink water because Dad doesn't want to stop the car, right? Like, just pee in a bottle and let's get going. Pull up to a tanker, fill up with gas, and let's not stop this thing. So, but still try and stay hydrated as you travel and as right before meet, because the less hydrated you are, the harder time you have sleeping, and the worse you do at athletic activities. What not to do before a competition. The night before a competition, don't try a new food. So if you're in Louisiana, you're like, man, alligator sounds really good. Not a good idea to try it the night before. Do it for lunch after the competition or dinner after the competition, right? So don't try something new, because if you get sick the night before, you probably won't get good sleep. Or if it gives you heartburn, you won't get good sleep. So try and stick to the same foods that you would normally eat. And practice those foods at home. So if you have, whatever your practice is the next day, so like maybe before a Saturday morning practice what you would eat before a competition and see if that agrees with you throughout, and see if you have enough energy throughout the whole thing. And we can do a talk about nutrition at a later date, but that's just some easy things. Limit or avoid pool time. Not pool, but swimming pool, right? You guys will normally get really tired because you play really hard in the pool, and if you're really tired right before meet, then it's not good, right? So avoid pool time. No hot tubs or saunas right the day before the meet. It turns your muscles into jelly, and then you just look like you're flopping around on the floor instead of dancing like you're supposed to. Especially if you're under 12. I couldn't find the exact age, but most people recommend if you're under the age of 12, you really shouldn't go in a hot tub at all, because you don't have good temperature control. So because children's skin is a little bit thinner than adult skin, and they also don't have as much of it because they're not as big, they can't control their temperature as well as an adult. So if you are going to get in, it's a limited amount of times if you're under the age of 12, but really you shouldn't go in a hot tub under the age of 12 just because it's hard to control temperature. You can get dehydrated, overheated, or you can have a heat stroke really easily. No intense workouts the day before meet. So a little bit is okay. Like I had a teammate in college that the night before meet, he would hop on the equipment and you do a little bit of conditioning. Because every day at practice when he was doing routines, he was a little bit sore. So why not be a little bit sore for competition as well? That was kind of his philosophy. I wouldn't go to the point of being sore. It's good to feel fresh as a meet. But a little bit is okay the night before, but you don't want a really intense workout the night before competition. And then, but also, don't do the exact opposite. Don't be a couch potato or a bed potato in the hotel room just clicking through the TV channels, right? And no TV binging, no Netflix binging the day before a meet, because you're just going to turn your brain into mush. Alright, so the last thing that you guys don't have is, what if I have neck pain or low back pain? How do I get a better night's sleep? So, that's when I got all my little goodies here. So, if you have, we'll start from the top and work our way down. So if you have neck pain, one of the easiest things you can do, this is the pillow I sleep on, pretty thin, right? Because when I lay down, I don't want my head up at a difficult angle. You want it pretty flat as you sleep. But to support your neck a little bit more, you take your hand towel, you roll it up. Do I have a guinea pig?
No.
Come on over. Alright, so lay down first. Alright. So she's in a pretty good position, right? She's pretty level. Her ears are basically over her shoulders. But neck pain usually just needs a little bit more support, right? How many people have seen somebody rubbing their neck when they have neck pain, right? So you need a little bit more support when you have neck pain, so raise your head up for me. So you slide the hand towel rolled up in the bottom of the pillow, and lay back down. Then you just get a little bit more support. And you can make it thicker, you can make it thinner, wrap some rubber bands around it if you like it so it doesn't unroll as you sleep and toss and turn. But even if you roll on your side, it still provides that good support. And then you can also tuck your chin on the other side of it if you need to. If you're one of these people that sleeps with your chin on your chest so you just can't help it, and you wake up in the morning and go, oh my goodness, right? So you can kind of hook your chin over it, and it can keep you from pushing down and putting your chin on your chest. Thank you very much. So it's called a cervical roll. Beautiful, beautiful. It's called a cervical roll. So if you have neck pain, you can try this method first. If you like it, they sell cervical rolls on Amazon for like 18 bucks or something like that. So there you go. Now, if you have low back pain, which one of our girls really likes fashion? McKenna, come on over. This is really fashionable, so you'll enjoy this. What you do is you get your bath towel, you get an oversized belt. Small girls, you can get your dad's belt. It's usually a little bit bigger. All right. So all you do is you wrap that towel up inside the belt. Fashion queen. So, grab this side. Put this side. So, obviously she's a little smaller than the average person. But basically, you wear it just tight around the waist here, because what happens if you lay on your side at night, your ribs are wider than your hips are, no matter how much soft tissue you have around it. Your bones, your ribs are wider than your hips are. So as you sleep at night, your back does this to line everything up. So what you do is you add a little support there to move it back in line. When you lay on your back, you have that nice little curve on your lower back. So you want to keep the curve in your lower back. So the extra padding here just helps support that. So then lay down. So it just adds a little bit of support. If you don't feel like it's enough support, you make a thicker towel on your side. Feels like too much, you make it a little thinner. That's what you do if you have, and then you can tie it around. It comes with a little bag that you put it in, and you can wash the little sleeves and all that. So, thank you very much. I wouldn't wear that. All right. So, what questions do you guys have about sleep? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I don't do this, but is it okay if you can, like, if in the middle of the night, or if you're hungry, you eat? That's not me.
Not you. It's someone else that you know. I understand. A friend of a friend. Okay. So if you get hungry in the middle of the night and you wake up and you want to eat something, a little light snack is not a bad idea. But if you eat a big meal, then it hinders you from sleeping, right? Because all your blood starts going to your organs to digest all that stuff. Yes.
What if you have like calf cramp screaming? Oh, what?
Don't wake up. Just
Like
sleep
she
through it.
wakes
Not
up in
just
the
kidding.
middle of the night all
Yeah?
the time, like 3 or 4 times a month, with like her calves or like cramps and her calves and like screams. And like everybody knows that screams.
Maybe, I guess.
Like everybody.
So do you drink enough water, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah? And something like cramps, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it. And you guys know if you point your toes too hard, sometimes it'll just cause a foot cramp. So it could just be the way you're sleeping. You just move in the middle of the night and cause yourself to have a cramp.
Hunter did the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It could be, like electrolyte imbalance. So if you don't have enough sodium or potassium or magnesium, any of those can cause muscle cramps. Water is the most common. If you're dehydrated, that's the most common thing that causes cramps. So if you're drinking enough water, then there you go. Yes, ma'am. So her question was, if I wake up in the morning and I still feel tired but I can't fall back to sleep, what should I do? So after how much sleep is that? Is that after like 5 hours, or is that after about 8? So that's not bad. What was the recommendation? How old are you? 9 to 11. So it's pretty close, and everybody's a little bit different. 9 to 11, 8 to 12 is probably okay for some people, right? But 9 to 11 catches the vast majority of people. So if you're waking up after 8, you still feel tired, you may just not be a morning person, and you may just take a little while to wake up. Is that pretty much every morning?
Not every morning.
Most mornings? Yeah. So it could just be that. But the thing is, if you wake up, so if you're going to lay down and you just can't fall asleep, it's better to get up and try some more relaxing stuff like reading a book or listening to music or whatever it is. It's better to do that than to just sit there and toss and turn. So if you're tossing and turning, it's better just to get up.
Hey, Ian.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to stop a second.
Yeah.
And take a quick survey here. How many of you kids, when you go home at night, eat your meal? Okay. So you go to gymnastics after school, go home, and then you eat that dinner after gymnastics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of your lecture is not the real world for gymnasts, and you've been a gymnast.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So we got to discuss maybe nutrition as well as sleep hygiene, as to how to eat a light meal before they go to bed.
Right.
Maybe eat a little bit after school or something like that. Because this entire group.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What time's practice normally at 8?
8.
Yeah. So and you guys.
Some of them don't get home till 8:30, 8:45.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was a gymnast, I lived out in the Bethpage for the last few years of my high school career, and so for me it was, and practice usually ended for us around 8:30, and it took me 35, 45 minutes to get home, depending on traffic and all that, and if they had built the new bypass yet or not, and and so for me, then I would go home and eat, and then I would fall asleep. So it's not the best, but a lighter meal at the end of your day, so that way you can sleep better, isn't a bad idea. But that means that you got to replace the calories somewhere else. You can't just get rid of calories. You guys work too hard to get rid of calories. Yes, ma'am.
Middle of the night, I hear my brothers come. I hear my little brother come to the bathroom.
Man.
Middle of the night.
Middle of the night. So you can't just get rid of calories. You have to replace those calories. So that either means a snack before gym, or even a meal before gym, or a snack during gym, or a bigger lunch, or a bigger breakfast, anything like that. Yes, ma'am.
So how many calories would you recommend at least a day to stay awake during the day?
Stay awake during the day. So for adults, what do you guys know the recommendation for adults?
2,000.
2,000 calories, give or take a couple hundred, right? Couple thousand. Let's hope not.
Is that per meal?
Yeah, that's right. Only if you're going out to eat for every meal, right? So for adults, it's 2,000. For kids, it's automatically more because their body's just kind of run at a higher level than adults, and they're growing and they just need more calories. But also, if you're an athlete, especially a gymnast who's working out 15 to 18 to 20 hours a week, a lot of times gymnasts need somewhere around 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day. Yes, ma'am.
What type of calories? Healthy fats, protein, dairy.
Yeah, so unless there's, and we'll get into this when we go into our nutrition lecture that we'll do in a couple months, but for the basics here, unless you have a food allergy, for children there's absolutely no reason to get rid of a food group. So there's a reason why those food groups exist, and so you need all those food groups, especially carbs. A lot of times moms or dads go on a low-carb diet, and that means that the whole house goes on a low-carb diet or no-carb diet, and the kids are going, man, why am I getting worse grades in school, and why am I getting hurt at practice, and all these things. It's because the body uses carbs a lot. Your brain almost exclusively works on carbs for energy to actually work. And then your muscles, we talked about those glycogen storages, right? So in order to produce energy in your muscles, you need sugar. Now, sugar can be converted from protein, and it can be converted from fats, but it takes a lot more time and a lot more energy on your body's part to convert those into sugar. So it's easier if you get some good carbs, not Hershey bars before practice. Terrible idea. So good carbs that last a long time, take a little while to break down. Yes, ma'am.
Is it bad to sleep on your stomach?
Is it bad to sleep on your stomach? So for your lower back, not so much. It's actually decent to be in that position for your lower back. Most of my patients that have low back pain have to bend backward to get better. And so sleeping on your stomach bends you backwards. So most of the time, bending backwards, sleeping on your stomach for your lower back isn't bad. The problem is, don't lay on your stomach. Be brave. You can do this. So the prop face that way. The problem is that your neck is turned almost as far as it can go, and you're holding it there for a couple hours until your body goes, oh, move, and then you roll over in your sleep, right? So that's the issue with sleeping on your stomach. Now, if you get one of those cool, like, masseuse face pillows where you can just sleep like this, it's probably not too bad.
I think that we need to make sure that you've said something in your lecture.
Yeah.
That they have to really be cautious and practice. Your body creates patterns.
Yes.
Patterns for sleep, patterns for the food you take,
Yeah.
patterns for the exercises when they practice hard. Some of you come to practice and have bad patterns of practice, okay? You need to make sure that your body gets into the patterns and keep the same patterns even throughout the summer.
Yeah, your body kind of craves regularity. It craves doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's why when you do the same exercises over and over and over again, you stop getting sore, right? Because your body gets used to it, and it goes, I finally figured this out. I know what she's going to do, so I don't have to get sore. I know exactly how much energy to put into this. I know exactly how strong my muscles need to be. I can do this now. Which why for working out, you have to change it up and you have to trick your body. But for most everything else, you need regularity. You need to eat at the same time every day if you can. You need to go to bed at the same time. You need to wake up at the same time, all that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
She gets restless sometimes at that time. So, what's your opinion of like a melatonin to help them relax? I've heard different people say
Yeah.
something like that.
So I don't know about melatonin for pediatrics. I know kind of for adults, the benefits and things. Melatonin is something that your body produces naturally. When the sun goes down, your body starts producing melatonin to put you to sleep, basically. And if you take melatonin, it's just trying to kickstart your body into, all right, now it's time for bed. So it's not something that you should take long term. It's something to go, I got off on my pattern, let me take a little melatonin for a little while to kind of kickstart it back into gear, to fall asleep at this time, and then I stop taking because my body gets used to that, gets used to producing it and getting to bed on time every time. So but I don't know about pediatrics at all, so I would definitely talk to your pediatrician or family doc about that. Yeah. Yes, ma'am?
Is it bad if you like take a bite?
Kick or bite in your sleep?
Yeah.
So it's not very restful, but if you can't help it, you can't help it, I guess. If you're doing it on purpose, you should probably stop. The other person probably doesn't like that so much.
I bit my mouth.
I've taken people.
Oh, goodness. Yes, ma'am.
I do that every night.
We have an hour schedule where we come home late at night and we have to eat. What's a good time to aim for between dinner time and bedtime?
It's best if you can have an hour. But if you can't have an hour, have as much time as you can, but the best amount would be at least an hour. Yeah, but if it's 50 minutes or 45 minutes, just as close as you can get to it, the better. Yeah. Yep. So sometimes, so if you're eating before practice and it's a light meal before you go to bed, sometimes you can just pack something and eat it in the car on the way home. So that way you save a little time and then you can spend that time, instead of eating, you spend it relaxing or taking a shower.
That's a great idea. Go buy McDonald's, get a hamburger.
So pack a meal.
I like that idea.
Yeah. So pack a meal. That's right. But yeah, so things that you can eat cold, or if you can bring it warm to the gym and them eat it. So but just light stuff, not a big T-bone steak or something right before bed, but chicken and rice and little bit of potato or sweet potato or just little light things your body can digest pretty easily. Yes, ma'am.
I usually have a protein bar before practice.
You usually have a person right before practice?
Protein.
Oh, protein bar. Okay, that makes more sense. I hope you're not eating people. Okay, good. Good, yeah.
Never mind.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions? McKenna said she had 3, so we'll wait till the end for her.
Wash McKenna.
Yes, ma'am.
My brother plays Fortnite all night. Is that normal?
Does what?
My brother plays Fortnite all night. Is that normal?
It's probably normal. Unfortunately, it's not okay. But
Like how late does he stay up?
all right.
We're playing that all night.
Good deal. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. If you have any other questions, you can email me or call me if you need my information. I have a few cards here. And if you guys have any questions about the program that we offer for the gymnasts here, just let me know. Or if you guys want me to go over it, we can go over it right now.